And hold on, okay, good. Okay, it's ready, so anytime you're ready.
Okay, so obviously I'm doing muscular dystrophy, kind of ironic that we did powerlifting and low-carb dieting, and I'm doing a disease about muscle waste. I would like to start off by telling a story, just a real quick one. I was walking across campus last year, and some guy stopped me and said, "Damn, man, you should be ashamed for being so skinny." To which I replied with, "Well, I'm sorry that I should be ashamed for having muscular dystrophy. Not my fault, and maybe you should probably lose the high school jock mentality and not say something stupid like that." So today I'm just going to touch on a few different forms of muscular dystrophy and some of the things that you could do to maybe help people with it and what people do in their daily lives while having it. Muscular dystrophy, the definition by the MDA, which is the Muscular Dystrophy Association, is a hereditary condition marked by progressive weakening and wasting of the muscles. There are more than 30 different forms of it. Statistically, 1 in every 3,500 to 6,000 men are born with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which is the most common form among children. And again, most common form. It starts to develop in only boys between ages 3 and 5. Their life expectancy is only until about their early 20s. So sometimes they don't even get to have their first beer. And it affects their neck, shoulders, arms, chest, upper legs, and pelvis. So they're pretty much stuck in a wheelchair from the time they're about 3 or 5 until they are no longer with us. The second one is myotonic muscular dystrophy. It's the most common adult form, and it begins to affect men and women between the ages of 20 and 30. There are 2 types of it. One is caused by a gene in chromosome 19 called DMPK, and it's abnormally expanded. Type 2 is caused by another abnormally expanded section in the chromosome 3 called ZNF9. It was originally called PROM for proximal myotonic myopathy, a term that has remained in use, but is somewhat less common than the term MMD2. The muscles affected by that one include the face, the neck, the diaphragm, forearms, hands, calves, and feet, and they're unable to relax these muscles after certain contractions. So they can go to lift something and then out of nowhere, they just freeze up. They can't do anything. Body just won't move. And then there is facioscapular humeral muscular dystrophy, which is the form that I have. It affects both men and women. In fact, about half of my mom's side of the family has it. And the severity ranges from all different ways. It could be, like me, obviously I'm not that bad, I'm walking around, I can raise my arms. But for someone like my mom, she's in a wheelchair and she hasn't even hit 50 yet. Mainly because her giving birth to me, since it affects the lower abdomen and the pelvis, made it a lot harder for her to walk. And when it says it affects the face and the shoulders and the upper arms and chest, when it affects the face, it means there's a good chance by the time I hit 35, I'm not going to be able to smile. Like I can't sometimes even close my eyes all the way. So I have to put on like a sleeping mask at night so light doesn't wake me up every 5 to 10 minutes. Now, to deal with these things, there's a lot of different things you can do. There's some medications, such as certain steroids, vitamins. Some people get in-home care, such as my mother. There's occupational therapy, which is really nice. You just go and to a place like a vocational rehab type thing, where they basically train you to do things a different way than you normally would. So say you have a problem lifting something, they're going to figure out a way for you to be able to lift it or to move it somewhere, or be able to type better, because those things just eventually get harder. Also, there's physical therapy. That's pretty self-explanatory. You go to a physical therapist and you do a little bit of strength and conditioning training. And then there's also surgery. Now, for someone like me, I said it affected my shoulders and my upper arms. By that, I mean my shoulder blades don't stay in place. So if I raise my arm, my shoulder blades wing out back. So what they would do is they would basically fuse my shoulder blades to my rib cage, so they would be more stable, which could possibly help strengthen my biceps. But then there's also other things that they could do for other different forms, whether it be fusing ankle bone or something because they can't, rotate their foot or something when they walk. And then I wanted to also touch on the differences between muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, and ALS. I was asked that when we were talking about our speeches, if I could possibly, differentiate the three. Muscular dystrophy only affects the muscles, whereas MS affects the myelin in the central nervous system to swell. And ALS affects the motor nerve cells, and that is actually way more progressive and degenerative than either of the prior two diseases. ALS is very serious, and there's a lot of organizations that kind of work in tandem with MD, MS, and ALS because they're kind of like cousins. They all affect certain parts of the body to degenerate, basically. And really the only reason I was doing this today was to raise awareness. Funding for it is actually really low. Like if you go to the gas station and they ask you to buy one of those shamrocks during St. Patty's Day and all that, you're actually donating to the Muscular Dystrophy Association when you do that. But despite all these setbacks, a lot of people get bummed out about it. And I'm sure when you guys heard me say I have muscular dystrophy, you're probably like, damn, that sucks. But it's all about keeping it positive, man. I mean, can't get bummed out on it. If you do, you're going to let it consume you. It's going to take over. So I just try to keep the PMA, positive mental attitude. And besides that, there's no cure. There's no real concrete therapy that can help. It's just kind of give and take. Certain people work certain things, and for some people it doesn't. So, yeah, that's it.